It off, and we're going into our next map here. So let's find out what map it will be for the 5th game in the series. And LFM has chosen Dragonshire. So, to me, again, this is kind of going back to the OG maps, right? They've picked a lot of the older maps. They picked Cursed Hollow. They looked really good for LFM. Or, no, excuse me, that's backwards. LFM lost that series. But LFM's going back to Dragonshire here. And again, I want to pose the question of where are we going to see Tiger JK land on the Warrior pool? Because we saw Garrosh again. Now he's 1-1, right? The first Garrosh Medivh game. Is that the key? To have the full aggro of Garrosh and Medivh? Is one piece not enough for this team?
I think that Garrosh is enough. I don't know if they need the Medivh, but it just, when all members, it was just a knowledge thing. When all members of LFM are missing off the map, you have to assume that they're collapsing mid lane, especially when your Garrosh is over the 50% mark. So nobody was bottom lane, nobody was top lane. Where do you think they are? Do you think they're soloing the support camp? Well, then your Warrior should be anchored up there, but the Warrior was stepped out too far, 5-man rotation onto him, and he ends up paying for it. So I actually just think a lot of the reasons why XD fell so short that game was just their own decision-making.
And it's interesting because we've been saying like one of the things that we need to see adjusted on the side of XD is they need to be a little bit more aggressive. And it seemed like they were aggressive in the form of like their decision making, like going for that support camp, stepping over that forward line to have a threat postured. But LFM adapted and they punished. They just said, you know what? Fine, we're going to keep our eyes on you and just punish you. And that's exactly what happened. But new game, new day, new map of Dragonshire.
And this could be it. You know, this could be our last game. We will see how XD responds. What do they have for us here? This is Dragonshire, so usually, you know, crazy drafts don't occur on this map. This is a very macro-oriented, very rotational, rotation-oriented map. We'll see what kind of drafts we end up getting out. XD, they get the luxuries of first pick, first ban. What are they going to go with? And they take away the Genji. Genji... Draded has just been dominating on this hero so far this series.
And I was actually worried just going into that last game about just Draded. This is the first time Maiev has made it through. It's a Genji and it's a Medivh ban, and Maiev gets snap locked.
Right away. So here we go. This is the volatility that XD needs here. You know, they need this Maiev. They need something to just get them to win.
They have to pick Garrosh here, right? Maiev Garrosh is so oppressive on this map. Yeah.
But now XD get, if they want a Diablo comp, they can have a Johanna comp. They can get, you know, Muradin or ETC as well.
I like the Diablo logic a lot here.
It's aggressive.
Yeah.
I want it.
I do too. I do too. I think that is the style that is most fitting. You know, we've seen ETC, we've seen Muradin, and we've seen Garrosh played by Tiger JK here in the warrior role of XD. And you know, the percent damage with that devastating charge up to the Garrosh, as you mentioned earlier today, is one of the best ways to deal with him, but also it's a map where you can get souls from 2 lanes. You can really put on early pressure for kills. Those kills grant you more souls and helps Diablo get to that max power potential for his sustain.
Dahaka and Stukov are the pickups, though, for XD. Love the Stukov, and so far we've seen XD do well with Dahaka, so let's see if this carries over here. But now LFM, you have a ban. What's it going to be? Likely going to be a warrior that they don't want to play against. That's what I see. Or it could be another damage dealer.
So they do have the next few picks here, obviously, for LFM. But, you know, some of the big ranged heroes are still available. We've seen a lot of Li Ming today in various situations. Yeah, Hanzo has had a 100% pick performance in these games. He's been in every game, I think.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Either picked or banned.
And ETC. So... I mean, ETC, when it comes to the actual just the power slide to set up Maiev to land those big combos is very, like, the burden of execution is very low. So maybe that's the mentality, and they know Tiger likes the hero.
Could be true. XD, you want to take away one of their big carries, and what is it going to be? Tracer could be banned. But, you know, the Tracer Maiev is a little bit interesting. Hanzo could also be a ban from
I like the Hanzo
XD.
personally.
I think Hanzo's better here, for sure. Or Blaze, too. So those are all options.
Do you want to dominate the solo lane a little bit better? I mean, there's still obviously good picks that exist.
Nobody likes playing against Bunker either. Let's just be completely honest.
If you're considering Diablo, you kind of have to ban Hanzo just because, like, you know, the armor reduction from Hanzo just constantly peppering out to Diablo feels terrible.
What's it going to be? XD. They'll tell us.
Yeah, they'll tell us. Oh, Jaina.
Okay.
Strong map for her. Helped set up the Garrosh. We saw that actually really benefit on the side of XD on Cursed Hollow.
What's the... Maiev benefits a lot from being in close quarters.
True.
You know, so Warden's Cage, if that's the heroic of choice. Fan of Knives just constantly getting resets on multiple heroes. So Jaina works well because Maiev likes being in those close situations. So Ring can be really strong. Also just the kiting potential from Water Elemental, if that's the heroic of choice here, which we've been seeing a lot more in NA in general. But LFM, they got the Hanzo. That's what we were talking about. Sonya as the solo laner. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet in the NA side of things today, but ever since the rework, she's got, you know, a lot of good power between the hero, a little bit more build variety, and naturally can match a Dahaka in the solo lane quite well.
Maiev, though, going to get a lot of value against this Garrosh and Sonya, but she can also just get absolutely destroyed. You know, if she doesn't have Vault of Wardens up, if it's a Poison Spear, Sonya, you know, taunt from Garrosh, she can be in a lot of trouble. So I kind of like this pickup. But then also Dahaka on the other side, if Sonya overextends and gets silenced or even dragged out of her whirlwind. So both of these drafts kind of are working well against each other so far, but the Hanzo is the big one for me. I like this pickup. I think it's going to really help the Sonic Arrows in rotation just to help LFM control. You know, they're going to control mid-bottom so well.
I am worried about that with the Sonya, though. The silence of Stukov and the isolation.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is a really good point. So we'll see how it works out, obviously. But yeah, you said Tychus? Sonic Arrow, a huge tool.
Tychus and a Warrior here, likely, right? I see it.
I see the Tychus, yeah. No, they go for the Gul'dan, and there is the Diablo, as you mentioned. Very powerful with the percent damage. And
Gul'dan, yeah.
With the Gul'dan, I mean, their clear isn't terrible.
No, but it's certainly not.
But okay, well, Warden's Cage, Horrify, Apocalypse, Massive Shove or Flailing Swipe, Isolation. Their actual CC in the team fight at level 10 is disgusting.
Oh yeah, XD commands a lot of control with their draft so far. But yeah, the Gul'dan is an interesting one for me. I personally love the hero. You know, I think he's fantastic. Lots of wave clear. He's got big playmaking potential. He's got high self-sustain. He can do camps. So I like the pick, but I think it could have been something different. But I like that we're seeing it. I was mentioning Tychus just because you're against the Sonya, against the Garrosh. It kind of makes sense there. But LFM, what is your last pick? You have your solo laner. You have your one range. You were saying yourself that we've been seeing some like Li Ming and stuff like that. It could come out here. Tychus could even be the pick for LFM.
I like the Li Ming, actually, though. I want to see the Li Ming. Falstad. They want to match the global, and this is a map where historically games have been won from a single Mighty Gust in the late game. If you decide that you want to overpressure the bottom lane, which is the lane to fight over, Falstad can just fly down and ruin your day.
Interesting. Okay. So Sonya is obviously the dedicated solo laner here.
Yep.
So it's going to be the Sonya against the Dahaka, but Falstad has that ability to fly from mid, top, or bottom. So it can basically be a 2v1 in any situation. I like the Falstad pickup. Let's see how it works in this specific matchup, though.
I gotta say, though, I love XD's draft, and I give it to them. I want to say even 70-30 is how much I favor it, just because the way they approach the game, when they have the aggressive options, having Maiev and Diablo and Dahaka, tons of crowd control to really force the fight on multiple fronts and try to force someone to basically make a misstep, that's where we've seen them look good in that one game on Cursed Hollow, and they have the tools.
Okay, we'll see if they're able to find it. One thing for me is Gul'dan. I think it might be a little bit difficult securing kills onto you know, the likes of Sonya, but we'll have to find out. You know, Gul'dan with that slow damage, even though it is a lot of damage that you can put out.
All right, guys. Well, we are ready to hop into Dragonshire. This is match point for LFM, currently up 3-1, and we are loading on in with them on the blue side. As we approach, we do see it's going to be Swabs playing in on the Sonya. We have T playing Hanzo, Figgy on the Garrosh, Falstad played by Traded, and Malfurion on the Aware.
On the right in red is XD. They're hanging in here. We've got Nintori. He's on the Stukov. We've got Talking Trees. He's on Gul'dan. Hami. He's playing the Maiev. Tiger JK stepping it up on the Diablo. And cover, rounding off the draft on Dahaka.
I like how his Twitter handle, he literally just wrote out hyphen. He didn't put a hyphen, he typed hyphen. So, level 1, it is a corruption build for trees on the Gold Ant, not going for the Fell Flame. And that will give you some of that overwhelming, damage potentially, especially when the clumped up, Warden's Cage could come through. Big silence there onto Figgy, trying to just control this rotation, but Figgy has control himself.
And LFM able to step into the delta there and start controlling the mid-bottom rotation already. So LFM, it's a fantastic win for them at this point. Look where XD is positioned on the map, sitting on their towers, just not able to do anything so far. Like, this is huge for LFM.
I think part of it is just the vulnerability of Diablo in the early game, right? We've seen Diablo just get completely lit up. If you try to fight at level 1 with zero souls, I mean, his health pool is just not effective.
Maev with the Naish's Memento already positioned on that Bruiser camp super early at this point, picking it up right at the 1 minute spawning time. I wonder what XD is going to do with this. This is a different opener that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, you can see that they're anticipating a mercenary camp. They're probably suspecting the Giants as they're responding with the Giants of their own. Hanzo good at grabbing that up fairly quickly. And, Dahaka does well against Sonya, but now he's going to have the support of that camp to make sure they have lock on the top lane. Giants grabbed here in the bottom to help them push in. Figgy awaiting anyone to step to his clutches. Trees needs to be careful. Diablo now going to be the one to scout.
Falstad stepping up, gets the drag. Now this is where you need to see XD just force something on the bottom. And nice job by LFM to walk away, not getting caught by the Maev. Excellent play so far from both of these teams, just understanding, the control points of one another. Cover not getting chunked out at all by the Falstad coming up, so nice play there. But the Falstad just able to clear that Bruiser camp for free. And now they just ended up trading at this point. Top shrine for bottom shrine. So very, very even so far.
Yeah, it was a good response. Neither team lost any soak. We saw the proper rotation into the mid lane to make sure they did not miss out there. And, while the 2v1 in the top lane seems really good here for the side of XD, they can't really capitalize unless Maev gets someone out of position.
Aware actually just gets completely caught out, but the towers are oh, okay, there's the minion wave,
yeah,
so it's all safe. Tiger JK, they get the first kill of the game. XD with a little bit of momentum.
Do they turn onto Figgy here? No. Hami's playing it safe.
And getting first blood against a Garrosh comp feels really good.
That's true.
Even though you have a hard engage with Diablo, so they have similar win conditions, it still feels excellent. And now XD looking at the neutral Bruiser camp on bottom side, just continually trying to generate pressure on the map.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to kill. You have a slight advantage on the map for a little while. That you can, if you translate that to the Bruiser camp, the neutral camp of the map, you're just continuing to put yourself a little bit ahead. And of course, all that damage done to the bottom lane, which is already quite exposed in terms of the wall, is huge. Big shadow charge onto the Aware. The body blocks are more than enough. Oh, maybe not. We see the W going through. It's so close.
He actually survived with no HP. I didn't think you could do that. But now both of these control points for XD at this point. The shrines are over to them. Are they able to find the pickup? Not really. LFM, both are two members represented mid, but the push from
Tiger
XD
from
bottom.
the shadows has the flip. Hami is getting collapsed on by Figgy, but the damage is enough as Diablo picks up the kill. This could be a 4 and a kill. Big momentum value. No one can grab the dragon in the situation, but they're looking for another kill onto the Garrosh. Maev going in. They have the flip, the shadow charge into the wall. Well played.
XD with huge momentum in this game, picking up the first fort of the game, and the Gul'dan is actually just paying dividends for this team so far. The wave control that XD has and able to find picks off of pushing in the waves. Aware is just stepping up very far against this Diablo and actually has to respect this pick far more than he has.
Swamps is going to have decent control, but yeah, Falstad looked for the fly. The flip is there. Hami grabs the dragon, and XD with a brilliant start to game number 5.
First objective of the game, going over to XD. Top is pushing in for LFM, so they got a little bit going for them there. Sonya with this rotation mid, so XD have to be cautious of the collapse. She's flirting with the idea of coming mid, but actually ends up going top here. XD, look at them go. We got a level lead for them.
Yep.
Mid wall picked up. Bot fort is already gone.
That's huge. And the Night Camp, did allow Sonya to deal with the top wall, so it helps him keep up in the experience a little bit, but it is a full level lead. Granted, the 3 kills and the wall and bottom fort being down, well, you'd expect at least that much.
Dragon Knight down, just looking at picking up the wells to stop the, just the sustain of resources from LFM, so nice job there, but not able to get much damage dealt onto this mid fort quite yet. But XD now starting to collapse. The Gul'dan wave clear is just proving to be actually quite a bit for LFM to deal with.
Yeah, just kind of looking at the state of the game right now, we do see Echoed Corruption at 23 stacks. Diablo has 100 souls, and Dahaka about half done with that Essence collection for the level 1 quest.
LFM have to absolutely concede this because level 10's here for XD. Huge combos with this Diablo.
Fireworks.
And now mid fort being picked up. So I like what XD is doing. They're not giving any time for LFM to just get anything done here. Now, like, it would even be cool to see XD take their bruiser camp and push top. Like, you still have a full level. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, you know, we see some teams that will kind of just posture aggressively, like patiently waiting for someone to step out. And in a way, you can maybe deny experience, but in this situation, not really. So yeah, I agree. Grabbing the Merc camps here, continuing to get the guaranteed advantage, just makes so much sense, and I'm glad to see them do it.
We have 2 represented top for XD. Nobody knows that Tiger is in the bush, but here we go. XD. They hear the back end. There's the drag. Tiger JK with the combination as well. Sonya in a lot of trouble. There's the isolation as well. And there's the kill for XD. They pick up the first one, but Tiger's in a lot of trouble.
Horify onto Falstad. The drag is not available, but the tether from Maiev. Huge damage from the Q coming out from that Gul'dan, but it's not enough. The heal's coming through from the Aware. Big healing. Tiger taps the well. This is a spicy Diablo with a ton of sustain available, and he's looking for the flank from the backside. Figgy gets charged. The Gust comes out for the save. That's huge.
Beautiful Gust from Draded. They're holding off, waiting for Diablo to find that engage, and then just completely disengaging from the potential of XD. And the top push is being stopped at this point, but XD got a lot off of that. You know, they got the entire wall, they got a little bit of a skirmish, and they got to flex.
I absolutely love that bait onto Sonya, where the Ancient Spear connected with a minion that had about 2% HP, forcing the stun to not hit Dahaka, allowing for the freest drag of his life, and then set up the kill. Like, the Apocalypse didn't do much, but man, that was just a wonderful pick, and I love the play from XD right now.
Yep, they're closing in on 13 too, so they don't have to make any ambitious plays right now. And LFM, they're all positioned mid, just making sure that no caps go over. But XD, one step ahead of their opponents here. So yeah, LFM thought that XD were going to rotate mid, but no. Instead, XD are like, we're just going to wait for level 13. We're going to take the neutral bruisers bottom. We have our siege camp already running. This bottom side push for XD is absolutely massive.
This is what I'd love to see, because you want to flex Falstad to the bottom lane because he's your global, right? Allow him to throw the hammering out, start the clear. Yes, he's Hearth after grabbing the top lane, but Dahaka's been lingering in the shadows, not showing his position, waiting to reclaim that for his team with that global in the back. And the double siege, this is a keep wall. This is a 13 advantage and a boss that Dahaka could just brush walker and grab for free, which is what we expect to see. If you lose Dahaka here, this could be disastrous. The fly in from Falstad, he gets the Gust, but what's the follow-up?
Hami was just able to take the Spirit back to safety, but Draded, he gets comboed by Tiger JK and ends up going down here. The push bottom side is huge for XD. The Dragon Knight's coming.
This could be the shortest game because of this DK. Having a fully open keep, a 4v5 situation, this is going to be very tough to defend. They need to make sure that the Diablo does not pick anyone. Garrosh is at risk. Everyone is at risk in this moment.
T trying to do what he can to stop the push of XD. 3 seconds left on this Falstad. If Hami can find a tether onto someone, this could be absolutely devastating. And XD, they are stepping in. Is this too much ambition or is this calculated?
It took them a long time to get through that keep because the game is so young. And
DK's
yes, they're committing his 5. It's a 5v5. The silence of the root onto Figgy, but he's looking for the backlane. Nintori is his target. Can he get in? The Dragon gets through the shields. It's down to 70% HP. XD going for it, dropping the Warden's Cage near the core. They should have it here, Kala.
XD with the perfectly calculated engage onto the core. Cover just going to walk up, you know, lick that one to death there. But XD, they get themselves back into this game. That was so hype.
And suddenly, I'm just thinking they need to play CC comps. Right?
Yes.
They went the double warrior. They had the Dahaka again. The global usage was fantastic, but the isolation, the drag, the flips, the tethers, they just lined up. They knew what they were doing. It was a different team, again.
Absolutely agree. What started out was, you know, it wasn't the best circumstances, but they played respectfully. They're like, we're not going to rotate into Delta against a Garrosh. Like, you guys cleared mid wave first. Who cares? You can have it. We'll rotate safely down bottom. We have the Gul'dan. We will outpace you when it comes to the wave clear, and they absolutely did that. And it kind of started out for me with that cheeky bruiser play first. Hami started on the, Maiev started right on the bruiser camp.
Right.
It used Nisha's memento, end up taking that for the team. It pushes mid, and then they get siege camp and then neutral bruisers. So much pressure on the map off of that.
Well, it's cool because the bruiser camp didn't do anything except force 2 members into the top lane. So then we had the 3v4 in the bottom lane, and it didn't look like it was going to translate to a kill. And the moment that we looked away, Diablo found the kill on that fort, and that's kind of where it all began. So yeah, the bruiser camp, in a way, forcing the 2-man into the top, ended up resulting in what gave them that momentum in the game. And against Garrosh with Diablo, like you said, that's a tall order.
And it also does something to the shot caller on the side of LFM, because if you're not used to playing against an early bruiser like that, your shot caller has to adapt immediately and be like, okay, if they have early bruisers, what's our rotate? 10 seconds lost already at that point because he's having to do the NA math. So it can be a little bit more difficult. Yeah. So I like the fact that XD, they just mix it up, because usually it's the siege camp that gets picked up a little bit early like that. And then
it's a standard, yeah.
Exactly.
What makes sense. But that was a 9-minute and 20-second game. So we are going to game 6, and it's time to find out